Now, I'm sure all of you are familiar with the one and only Verdansk Battle Royale map for Warzone in Modern Warfare and now Black Ops Cold War. The 150-player map takes place in the city of Verdansk, which is actually a major city in the fictional country of Kastovia, which is featured in the Modern Warfare campaign. But a lot of you may not have realized that this city is actually based on a real-world city in Ukraine called Donetsk, and actually replicates a lot of the different buildings and landmarks in that city. What is up, guys? Mr. Melch here, bringing another brand new video here today. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far. If you guys haven't already, be sure to drop a like on the video and also comment down below at the end what you guys think of this one. If you've not done so already, be sure you're subscribed to the channel. I did mention it in the last video, but over 95% of you who watch the videos on my channel are not subbed to the channel, so make sure to drop a sub on the channel and be sure to tune in for more Call of Duty videos, anything and everything Call of Duty Warzone, Black Ops Cold War, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 2021, and whatever may be coming in the future. But let's jump into today's video. Now, first, I'll start off by saying essentially, it's almost a guarantee that in every Call of Duty game, we're going to get some sort of game environment and maps that are based on real-world locations. But as I mentioned, there are multiple locations across this Verdansk map in Warzone that replicate real-life buildings and locations and actual landmarks that exist in real life. So I'm going to kind of go through a lot of those locations across Verdansk and also Rebirth Island and cover those items. So let's first start off with the main center attraction of Verdansk, and that is the stadium. Now, as I mentioned, the city of Verdansk and the main map itself are replicating off of the real-world city of Donetsk, Ukraine. Again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. In Donetsk, there is the Donbass Arena, which is the stadium that you're seeing here. And also, as you can see, it has some pretty clear similarities to the stadium that's in Warzone. There's obviously a lot of exterior similarities, but there's actually some information behind it that kind of attaches some different connections to the Warzone world. And that's actually because the stadium was closed down in 2015 after just 5 years because there was essentially a war going on in the city, so the team was forced to relocate, and the stadium's now closed, so it's essentially abandoned, and it's not being used. Obviously, there's similarities with that in the Warzone stadium, as that's not an active stadium. It's obviously taken over by the military, so there's clear similarities to that. But there's also a pretty clear explanation as to why, and this is being used as reference, and that's with a lot of the other items that are in Donetsk that are also in Warzone. One of those other things is the airport. Now, this is actually almost an exact match to what the airport looks like in Warzone. You can see obviously the ATC tower is a clear copy and paste type thing in terms of how much it looks exactly the same. And actually the airport building itself and parking garage that are across the road look nearly identical, and there's a clear inspiration on how they designed everything with the Warzone airport and how this turned out in real life. And also with that war that I mentioned that was going on in the region in the real life Donetsk city, this airport in real life actually essentially got destroyed completely during this regional conflict. So there's also that to add into it. One of the other items on Verdansk is the bank. Now I'll put the pictures side by side here, and they're exactly the same. Now there's two side views that also clearly show that this was essentially a reference image and copy and paste type deal where they used this map or used this building as clear inspiration for the building that they used in Verdansk. Another one of these similar types of situations was the Superstore, the Atlas supermarket. The Metro supermarket in Donetsk was another store that exists in real life, and obviously there's some clear exterior similarities with the buildings and how they look. Obviously the parking canopies as well and the sign are very similar. This store as well was also destroyed, and the picture you're seeing here also was including when the building was being looted during this regional conflict. So obviously, as you can get the drift on how this played out, this regional conflict in Ukraine essentially destroyed this city, and there's, and take it for a grain of salt on how you want to connect that to Warzone, but there's obviously clear reference and inspiration or referencing on how they put this all together. So another thing, this is not directly connected to the Donetsk city, but it's the pool building in Verdansk. Now, a lot of you already know previously that the pool that you're seeing here is from the Chernobyl site. You've seen the same site in previous Call of Duty's COD 4 specifically. It was when it first came out in the Chernobyl mission, but obviously it's exactly the same. If you went to this Chernobyl site in real life and held a picture of the Warzone map, this building would look exactly the same, and obviously you can see that the interior is exactly the same as well. And now one last piece that is worth mentioning with all this is the dam. Now this might be a stretch on how a lot of people correlate the two, but this is somewhat of a guess on a similarity between the two. This is a Verdansk, or excuse me, this is a dam in real life that's similar or close to Donetsk. That's obviously similar to the Verdansk dam. We thought we might get an event on the Verdansk map that had something to do with the dam, We still might. So we'll see what happens with that in terms of any changes to the map on the damp side of things. Now, the last item that I want to cover here in this video is Rebirth Island. Now, as many of you know, Rebirth Island existed previously in Call of Duty. It was in the Black Ops 4 Blackout mode as another Alcatraz map. It was literally called Alcatraz in Black Ops 4, and is exactly the same as Rebirth Island, except remastered in a sense, with some new graphics, some little minor changes to the map, but almost exactly the same. Now, what you may not have noted, you know, a lot of you with the Rebirth Island connection, this is actually a real life location. Alcatraz is a real place. It's a island prison essentially in San Francisco. It was a prison on the, it's obviously closed nowadays, but it's a prison on the interior of the map, and they obviously had a full complex around the outside. So, seeing the layouts of the two different maps here, they're almost exactly the same. The prison looks exactly the same. The water tower, buildings around the exterior of the map or the island, it's very, very similar. And also, I actually had a good friend who went and visited Alcatraz in real life, and when he just played Rebirth Island a couple weeks ago for the first time, he didn't make the connection or play Blackout, so he didn't know that this was the full Alcatraz map, and he, said to himself, this looks like Alcatraz. Why does it look so familiar? And I was like, well, it is Alcatraz. And he's like, oh, that makes sense. So who knows? It's kind of cool how they take these real life locations and put them into games like this. Obviously, there's only so far you can go with that in terms of, exactly copying and pasting buildings, but it's cool to see the inspiration that they put from these real world buildings. And so that's kind of going to do it for the IRL Verdansk Rebirth Island, Warzone type deal, but I'm sure we're probably going to get a lot of the same different types of similarities with real world, landmarks or locations or buildings with the next Warzone map. We'll see. I did make a video on the Ural Mountains new Warzone map that's probably going to be coming here later early 2021. So be sure to check out that video if you've not watched it already. It goes over a lot of the details on what the next Warzone map will look like. But other than that, that's all I got on this one, guys. I appreciate you tuning into this one. Again, if you haven't already, drop a like on the video. Comment down below what you guys think of this one. And again, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Comment down below what you guys want to see in the next video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.